All right, welcome everyone. We're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. We're allowing a little bit of time for people to filter in. If you were not planning on joining the friendly Shark Tank, you might be in the wrong place, but hopefully this was your destination today. We're happy to have everyone. As a reminder, this is part of the overall Lift Academy. It's actually the final session in the financial stability pillar. And so as with all of our meetings, you are muted on entry, but please feel free to bring yourself off mute to ask any questions or to put questions for the broader team or anyone in particular into the chat. You are also welcome if there's something that you would like to have asked, but you don't want to ask it yourself, to send any of the SHG advisors team a direct message and we can ask it for you. Quick reminder that while the broad session where everybody's in the big room like this will be recorded as usual, when we do go into the breakout sessions, those will not be recorded. And those that remain in the big session will be muted, so we will not be recording those while the breakouts are happening. But for those who are watching the recording, as we debrief and talk about how we do pitches, that will be recorded. So just a short note that everything will not be recorded today. Okay. So we're going to start with, again, welcoming everyone. We're going to do a little bit of introductions, talk about how the rounds and the timing that we're going to spend together will go. We'll take a quick minute, as you know, to do our survey so that we can make sure the material that we are providing to this point, and particularly more importantly in the pillars to come, are meeting your expectations and needs. Then we'll do a little bit of debrief about the day, recognize that everyone's still alive, so it didn't go as bad as maybe you thought. And then we'll close out for today. Is there anything that anyone needs or questions before we begin to get introduced to our folks who'll be catching the pitches today? Anyone? Okay. So we are very blessed and happy and honored today to have some folks from the philanthropic field here to act as our catchers of your pitches. They have all been given a little bit of introductions of how the process is going to work, which we will review. But we're just very honored that they spent some time with us today and a little bit of prep to be ready to hear your pitches. We're going to ask them each just to introduce themselves, who they are, and the expertise that they bring to us. And I will just ask them one by one to introduce yourselves as you are alphabetically listed on the screen. So Kimberly, we're going to start with you.
Okay, thank you, Tanya. Welcome, everyone. It's great to be here. Kimberly Allen. I am from Philadelphia. I spent the vast majority of my career as a senior program officer in a foundation, so in a funder, and I've listened to many, many pitches and reviewed many, many proposals over those years. And in the last 6 years, I've been serving as a consultant to nonprofits around strategic planning, strategic fundraising, and general growth and organizational development.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Richard.
Hello, everyone. Richard Brown. I am a former grant maker. I worked in philanthropy and corporate philanthropy exclusively for over 30 years, working for such companies as American Express and Goldman Sachs, and have a lot of experience working with nonprofit organizations, sitting on boards, as well as in my current state, I am a consultant working with Georgetown, and that's how I know Tanya, as well as other organizations in the nonprofit space. So it's great to be here. Looking forward to getting pitched to and providing feedback the best I can. And so I look forward to the folks that I'll be chatting with today. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. And Zach.
Good morning, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. My name is Zach Clapper. I am the Director of Engaged Philanthropy at the Denver Foundation. So coming with a community foundation lens to this conversation, I get to work on both sides of grant making, but also fundraising for the foundation too. So I have about 10 years of experience exclusively at community foundations. So hopefully that's a helpful perspective in these pitches.
Thank you. And Kelly.
Hi, good morning, all. My name is Kelly Forsbauer. I'm currently a grants manager with the Colorado Trust. I have been working in homelessness grant making and grant management for about 6-7 years now. Started my career in a continuum of care, Memphis, Tennessee, made it to the state of Colorado, worked with many of the wonderful Ojai people that you all know and love, and now I'm at a private foundation. And so very excited to be able to be here and hear the pitches and just to be able to be a part of this.
Great, thank you. And Cassidy.
Hey, I'm Cassidy Smith, Executive Director of the Colorado Access Foundation. Oh, let me think here. I've been in health policy, public health, and philanthropy for about 25 years now. Worked directly in philanthropy for about 10 of those. We are a smaller, newer private foundation, and housing is one of our focus areas. So I'm really excited to meet with you all today.
Great, thank you. And last but not least, Rowena.
Hi, everyone. Rowena Naidu. I'm the Vice President for Policy and Community Initiatives at Mile High United Way. And our funding focus areas include housing security and working on addressing homelessness, as well as other basic needs supports, early childhood education, and out-of-school time programs. Mile High United Way, if you didn't know, is the very first United Way in the world. Everything started in Denver about 138 years ago, and some days it feels as though I've been around that long. But really excited to hear from all of you, and thanks for the opportunity.
Great, thank you, Rowena. And if you have looked at the pre-pitch information, you will see Rowena just did a little pitch, added a story for context, told you about their impact. So look at that before we even get started. All right, well, here is what we are going to do today. We have had our introductions, we've opened and welcome. This is how we're going to do each round. Each one has 15 minutes. There will be a person in each group pitching their pitch. And then there is time for the catcher to provide feedback as well as to have some general discussion. There will be timed sessions. So each of you should see at the top of your session, and Caroline, correct me if I'm wrong, a 60-second countdown as the meeting ends. So you will see that last minute counting down. It does not take feelings into account. It will cut you off, but just so that you know that it's about to happen, you will see that. When we come back to the room, we will then have a chance to have some general discussion between the sessions and then go on to the next one. Post the pitch sessions, we'll have some time to complete the survey, to do a little bit of discussion about the pitches in general, and then we'll talk about next steps for our Lift Academy folks. Any questions before we begin our first round? Okay. Just as a note, those who registered after the October 16th cutoff, you are more than welcome to stay in the main sessions, but we have specifically assigned people to the pitch round, so you will not be able to go into the breakouts, but we're more than happy to have you here in the big room to be part of the breakout discussions once they are over. Okay, round one. These are the assignments. The catchers already know who's going to be presenting in their sessions. You should be able to see your name on the screen. Again, if you registered by the cutoff. The bolded first name with the P, those are the pitchers. The three folks under them are the watchers for each of the session who are invited to be part of the discussion after the pitch session. Once you are in your breakout room, we encourage the catcher to just sort of set base, say how your room is going to work, kind of like a judge in their chamber. It's up to you. You're controlling your meeting. And if there aren't any questions, Caroline, are we ready for the system to do the thing for the first breakout?
Yep, I will open up the breakout rooms right now.
Okay, everyone should see a request to join your room. Please click join and we will see you in 15 minutes. Okay, I think everyone is in their room and we should probably pause the recording.
I'll be back and I've started recording.
All right. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Are we all accounted for? Everyone's still breathing? Went okay? Anyone willing to share how that went versus expectations on the first one? Oh,
Sorry, that was me.
somewhere where to go.
No, that was me. I didn't. Now we have another 60-second.
That's okay. They'll be back. I think we're missing one room. We accidentally went back to our breakouts, but they'll be coming back in about 30 seconds.
So sorry, people.
That's all right.
No
Keeping
worries.
us on our toes.
Tanya, just so you know, Arnold did not know he was a pitcher. He thought he was a listener, so.
Okay.
He had a
How
crash
about that for a
course.
little surprise? He must not have seen that he clicked the button to pitch, but that's all right.
Okay, they're back.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Anyone willing, while we take a break before our next session, to share a little bit about how that went, particularly our folks who pitched?
I'll jump in. Hi, Sarah Rutledge with MDHI. I pitched to my shark Zach, and it was thrilling, and he asked a lot of really thoughtful questions that luckily I was ready for, and we were able to kind of discuss some thoughts, but it went really well. I'm really happy.
Fantastic. Is this something that you do naturally in your role, Sarah?
Yes, yeah.
Fantastic. Anyone else willing to share, particularly if maybe this isn't something that you normally do in your role? Would be interesting to hear that perspective.
I can share.
Absolutely, Evelyn, thank you.
So, yeah, thank you too. I had Rowena and Brian, and it is something I normally do, but what's different about what I was pitching, it's to an audience that, I'm not as familiar with, which is the business and employer group. And so it was really helpful to just to take a sigh of relief and practice that and get some constructive feedback. Also, it was very helpful. Rowena asked if how do I do this often virtually, or is it more in person? And so we haven't done pitches really virtually. It's always been in person. So she had some really good just small ideas about how to position if you're using notes on the screen, so that you're also not losing that contact with the person that you're speaking to. So that was really helpful. It was just exciting.
Great. Thank you. I love that, Evelyn, particularly because you mentioned about not being as familiar. As a lot of philanthropy is shifting at, currently and perhaps here in the near or maybe even midterm future, your organizations may be doing things differently. Maybe you have more opportunities virtually than you do in person as you look to diversify and expand out the realm of philanthropy that you are trying to reach. So being able to shift and do things differently is a great experience. And not knowing to whom you're pitching as well, because you hadn't seen them at the conference, is a skill, just like they don't know you as well. So what are the things that you have to convey to get them to know you, or to at least be comfortable to ask you the question? So those are great examples. Thank you. Carolyn, how does our round 2?
We're ready to go whenever
Okay.
you'd like.
Let's see if I could move. There we go. Does my screen want to cooperate? Yes, there we go. Okay.
So
For
I'm gonna.
round 2.
All right, here we go.
Welcome back, everyone. So that was the second time. Did it get a little easier from the first time? I see some head nods. If I could call on, let me see. How about one of our watchers? Did it seem like your pitcher felt more at ease? Were you able to tell that just in observing them, any of our watchers? Let's see, who can I see? Karina, did you watch anyone?
Did watch, but we were kind of still learning through the pitch in the room, so we didn't get too far.
That's okay. Oh, it's okay. Who else? You happen to be lucky enough to be on my screen. That's why I called you.
No worries.
What about some of our pitchers? Was it easier for anyone this time than it was the first time? I see Sarah is recrunching, getting ready for round 3. Let's see, Lindsay, did you pitch this time?
Yeah, I did. It definitely, I took notes from the first, do we call them sharks? I feel mean to call them sharks. From the
We're
first
friendly
shark.
sharks, though. We're
Friendly shark. And then used it in the second one. And then my brain forgot. Anyway, so yes, it's getting easier, but
Okay,
still a thing.
fantastic. Was it, if you could share something about the content or just your style that you were looking to incorporate this time?
Mainly content. I've only been in my role for about 2 weeks. So
okay.
definitely like I need all aspects of pitch support. So yeah, it was mainly the content is what, what are they looking for? And what is it? What do people gravitate towards? What information is the most compelling?
Oh, perfect. This was perfect then for,
Yeah.
for you. Welcome.
This is
All right,
Christine.
what about our catchers?
Oh.
Anyone, and we'll definitely get to you after the third round as well, but anyone feeling any sort of themes or things that seem to be resonating with people across the board that you'd be willing to share?
I think I might not be playing my role very well. I'm just falling in love with all of these projects I'm hearing about, and I just want to learn more. Just incredible work going on in the community, and just some very thoughtful, just yeah, thoughtful work, and thoughtful ways that people are addressing this issue. So kudos to everybody.
Thank you for that, Rowena. Richard, I saw you came off mute.
Well, I'm finding out through the two conversations that I've had that the impact of federal funding and its uncertainty has, I think, has folks thinking about how they're able to address that and be able to pivot in this time. And so, Todd, you know a great deal about diversifying one's funding, and so that's obviously an important topic for folks who are. And I'm understand most folks that I have, of all the folks who are in this program, are in the housing. It sounds like so, housing being critical, but also one of the areas that might see a reduction in federal funding, which in many cases is a pass through Colorado's state authority. And so the idea of diversifying, the ability to be able to identify new funding sources is going to be critical. It may not be able to completely replace federal because it's a significant portion of the monies, but it may be helpful in terms of helping sustain some of these organizations into the future.
Absolutely. And hopefully those, because funders don't have limitless resources either at these times, those who are better able to communicate what they're doing, what they're looking for the funding for, what the time frame is, the impact, you can only imagine that they will tend to do better than those who can't. Because the funders are looking to quickly ascertain who they can fund, where and how. So things like having these skills and being able to communicate it can't be but more important for everyone, right? Across the board. For our final round, how do our breakout sessions look, Carolyn?
Good, other than Zach is missing his pitcher, Arnold.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think Arnold is in the session any longer.
Oh, did we lose Arnold?
But
Do
there are.
we have any of
He was in
Zach's-
my.
Oh, go ahead, Richard.
He was in my session, so he was in the last session. So I'm not sure where he went after we concluded.
Might have gotten kicked out. Maybe he'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have any of Zach's watchers with us?
We have Brian Janik and Karina Rasmussen that are in with Zach right now. That will be once I launch.
Feel free, either of you, should you wish to come up with one on the fly to share. And then if not, maybe Zach can just share some knowledge with our with his group. Would that be okay, Zach?
Yeah, please. I'm happy to take unprepared.
Okay, great.
Terrific. Thank you, Zach. Okay, I'm going to go ahead then and launch the rooms for everyone.
All right. Last round, make it a good one. Great. Thank you, Carolyn. Everybody should be tapping up. Looks like we have all of our rooms back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Showing my age a little bit. Now I have the theme song to Welcome Back Carter playing in my head. Welcome back. So hopefully that went great. What we're going to do is take a couple of minute break here to allow our Lift Academy attendees to complete their survey for this session. While you are doing that, our catchers will have a couple of minutes to get their thoughts together, to think through the rounds, so then we can have a little bit of debrief before we go on and talk about what's next. You will get this in a couple of ways. Number one, you can answer the 6 questions by using the post, which should have just popped up on your screen. Number 2, there is a QR code on the screen that you can leverage to fill in the information. And there should also be a link coming in the chat right there that you can also leverage. Again, that is for our Lift Academy attendees. Catchers, we're going to ask you to use these couple of minutes to get some thoughts together, and then we're going to have a little bit of group debrief about today's session. And no, I'm not going to sing the Welcome Back Carter song while you do it, even though I really, really was thinking about it. As we wrap up here, for our catchers, are there any insights, things that you notice as you think about folks trying to take in this great feedback that you have given them, massage the edges of these pitches to be prepared to speak to others in the future? Any little nuggets that you might be able to offer our friends to think through based on what you experienced with them today?
I'm happy to go.
Absolutely, Cassidy, thank you.
I think I shared for each during each session. I personally, as a funder, really like to hear that sort of case example or real story that balances the qualitative and quantitative data of your mission or program or what you're doing. I really liked how each pitcher started with the history and the high level and the scope and gave some great numbers, but just maybe taking it one step further to tell that real story to help it come to life a little more. And then also, and I get that they had a time limitation, but I think that that's helpful. And then also just really being ready to make that specific ask, like what is your most urgent need and that number. And then if the funder isn't ready for that, like, well, what's next? What are some other ways we could partner, or who could you help connect me with? And ensuring that there's some sort of action item that comes out of it. But I really enjoyed meeting with everyone and hearing about all the great work that's happening.
Great. Thank you for that, Cassidy. And I love how it directly ties to the guidance everyone was given about their story and having an ask at the end, even if it's an email, something that connects you and allows you to return to that person that you were talking to. Thank you for that. Any of our other catchers have any insight they'd like to leave with us?
I can go.
Absolutely, Zach. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, kudos to you guys for squeezing all of the tremendous work that you do into that time frame. Like, that's impressive. One thing that I thought was really cool that you built into our time together in the pitches was that settling in time. And so I was really intentional with Seamus to, when we were talking, to really use that like we were joining a meeting together, the chit chat, the human parts of that too, because I think that really is great to set a foundation with whoever you're talking to, and build commonality and just get to know each other before like the formalness kicks in, because that just sort of helps everybody kind of feel more comfortable. So I love that we baked that in, and I think that's a really important piece of this too.
Thank you for that. And it really does sort of replicate if you run into someone somewhere. You're not just going to, hi, I'm trying to, I mean, you might like, hey, how's the weather today?
Yeah.
Love that tie. Like there's going to
Yeah.
be that settle in part when you
Yeah.
run into people in a real setting as well. So it's great to practice it.
Right.
Thank you for that, Zach. Any of our other catchers have a nugget or two they'd like to leave with us?
Yeah, I would love to just echo everything that Cassidy and Zach just shared. +1 on everything. I also really wanted to highlight that I heard some really awesome pitches from everyone, and also like really appreciated that in the asks that I've heard, there's also like a sustainability component baked into it too. A lot of like helping funders, I think, understand like these programs that you all are pitching are awesome. And like, here's how down the road we want to either like we're going to keep them going, or how this will help us leverage other funding, or organizations that we work with leverage other funding. And I think being able to help people see that as like, what is this amount of funding, this ask? Like, how is this also being shaped as like an investment in like not only your organization, but also like the broader like ecosystem that you're working in too. I think especially if funders don't have as much experience in the housing and homelessness world, it can feel like, wow, there's a lot of system, there's a lot of acronyms, there's a lot of stuff going on. Like, and there's so many organizations that are also doing really awesome work. And I think being able to make that connection between how it's going to help be sustainable, not only for yourselves, but also for the bigger systems that you're working in was really great. So
Thank you for that, Kelly. Yes, the acronyms. We can acronym to death in our individual locations, industry, program types. And once you start to branch out, you don't want to spend half your time explaining what it is. So try your best not to use them until folks get it just familiar. Any of our catchers want to go before we ask a few of our pitchers how today went?
I'll jump in. I
Absolutely,
think
Rowena.
something that was just so powerful for me was the way each of the folks I got to interact with brought me into their communities. Because I'm not in the mountains or I'm not in the Southwest, but you really painted that picture and brought me in to the communities and the neighborhoods that you're working with. So I got a sense for who you're working with, what that community is like, and it really added something special to your presentations. So thank you for that.
Again, part of that upfront connection and bringing people in is so important. Thank you. Evelyn, I have a question for you because I loved your chat when we first started. You were so excited and ready. Did this live up to helping you get this together? Do you feel prepared? Was this a good thing? Did it meet your expectations?
Yeah, it did. Thank you. I learned from each of the I don't know what they call the friendly sharks, a couple really key tips, and it was really grateful. So Cassidy pointed out, like she said, the importance of a little bit of storytelling. And then she just helped me fine tune a little bit of just helping someone who's not familiar when you say workforce, who in our community, who that workforce is. And so I went back and added that really because that was very important to us because we are a rural resort area. So it's our laborers, our educators, our ski instructors. So it was really helpful in kind of understanding that. And Kimberly asked a really tough question at the end and asked, how do you see how does this initiative set apart from others? How is it unique? And I thought, oh, and that's a great question. I need to tease that out a little bit more. And then Rowena just really was so helpful in pointing out some just basic tips for when you are presenting virtually, kind of just things that would help so that you're engaging that eye contact and not swirling in your seat, the things that come with nervousness. So it was great.
Yes, because people are like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't think about it. Great.
Yeah, and for me, my age, it's like a tech thing. Okay, how do I get the screen? How do I get my notes underneath? So it's just, I wasn't even thinking about it.
Perfect. Those are great examples, Evelyn. Thank you for sharing. And again, it's about practice.
Yeah.
Because the fifth time you do it, you'll know where your notes are and how to set it up and how it worked best. So even if you're calling your friend or your neighbor to pitch to them, just so you can see it happening and have someone tell you what they see, is to just practice, practice, practice. Thank you for that. Any of our other pitchers want to leave us a last nugget before we go on and talk about next steps from here?
This is Christina Gare. I just want to say thank you because this was really helpful. And I sometimes think, okay, I've got my pitch down. I can do this because I've been doing this for a long time. But especially to talk to people who know nothing about what I do and sort of to give me nuggets of like, this is what I see that could be helpful for your organization. So everybody really, I took some good notes and really gonna think through it and how I can create that story even more powerfully. And so getting everybody in the room, because like there's a lot to share, right? And like we said, there's a lot of acronyms, there's a lot of things going on, but how do you share it in a way that people can really get that story and feel that connection? Not only some people prefer more data, some people prefer the story side. And so thank you.
Great. Thank you for that, Christine. And I think you're leaving us with a good nugget of when you have pitched to one catcher, you have pitched to one catcher. They
Yeah.
might be a data person. Be ready and
Yeah.
have some data. You might find you talk to a vision story and they just sit back and say, tell me a story. You need to have your story ready, right?
Yeah.
So every person you talk to might be a different type or a different type of organization. So the more you practice and have different things you can pull in or leave to the side, the better you'll be. So thank you so much for that. Okay, I'm going to go back to our deck here. We've talked about our survey. And if my screen, there we go. As a reminder, everything that we do, you can link back to the Lift Academy homepage for recordings and questions, FAQs. So where we are today in the general scale of our Lift Academy, this is our final session for the financial stability pillar. As with all of the other elements we've gone through, from Medicaid to the earned revenue systems, are all again back on the Academy homepage. Today's recording, as well as anything that comes out of it, will be put there as well. Going forward, on the 19th, we are starting and so excited about our programmatic excellence pillar. And so you'll be getting information and emails from us about that. And I'm just going to leave a final plug for these pitches. As you are building in excellence and explaining your excellence of the programs you are doing, you have to be able to talk about it and to communicate it to people that you want to come on board or to help you. So pitching anything is a great skill. So we hope that today has been able to help you do that. We are excited for the future. We're one pillar down and 2 to go. Again, if you need anything, have any questions, start at the Lift Academy homepage. If you can't find it there, please reach out to any of us on the team. We are here for you and excited to keep going in this Lift Academy. Summer, is there anything as our fearless leader you'd like to connect with us today before we let everybody go?
I just want to say thank you to everyone for participating in this. And I think it was incredibly helpful. I remember when I was a new young executive director trying to figure out how to make a pitch, I didn't have the benefit of having something like this. And it was scary. I was nerve-wracked. And it didn't help that the first funder I worked with wasn't very friendly. And then it took me a long time to understand that most funders are really, really friendly. And my first experience just happened to be negative. But I just, yeah, I know that this took extra time and effort from both sides, whether you're a catcher or pitcher. But this practice is priceless, right? And gets you more comfortable with how do you really tell the story of your organization, both in terms of data and anecdotal. So thank you to everyone again, and go out and go pitch.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, catchers. Thank you, pitchers. Thank you, SHG team. We'll see you next time.